Welcome to Fast Five, where our four panelists weigh in on 5 separate topics. Ron, the Playboy Mansion sold for $100 million. What do you think?
100 million less than it should have brought. They said it should have brought $200 million.
They were asking.
Yeah, they were asking 200.
100 million more. That
I would have liked to have been a realtor on that sale. The commission would have been. But I did hear Hugh Hefner's son talk a little bit about it, and he. I don't think he's too happy that it's being sold because Hugh Hefner's going to have a lifetime estate there.
Yeah,
lifetime, he's 90, but he'll be around.
He lives
for
there
a while.
as long as he lives.
Yeah, but I think you're going to see the demise of Playboy.
I absolutely agree.
I think Playboy has seen its day, and it's probably time for it to.
Well, unfortunately, it's too tame for taste these days. You can get whatever you want at whatever level on the internet, and that's replaced any art that might have been existing in that publication.
Well, I thought it was very symbolic, the sale to a guy who's an equity fund manager. It's from one obscene thing to another obscene wealth that this guy can spend.
You've been
on
very
this.
quiet on
So-
this, Mary. Do you have an opinion?
I'm trying to bite my tongue a little bit. I mean,
Don't.
Put it right out
it's-
there.
What do you think?
it's garbage. I mean, it's just plain old garbage. I'm glad that it sold for a lot less than it was worth. I mean, I thought 100,000 or excuse me, 100 million is 100 million more than what it should have sold for. So I'm glad it sold.
Okay, second topic. Giant goldfish populations surge Australia, wreaking havoc on ecosystem.
Have you ever watched Cops and seen like those huge anacondas that are like loose in Florida or something? They're like 30 feet long, and the cops are trying to get it in the pillowcase or whatever. That's what happens when people purchase a pet, you know, irresponsibly. They don't realize that it's going to grow like 10 times its size, and then they let it go and wreaks havoc, you know, and it becomes an invasive species. So people need to be a little bit more responsible, I think, when they think about releasing and where they release their animals.
Well, in the present climate of science denial, this is a good point. No, people mean well. They're
they
free
don't.
willy thing. We're going to get rid of the goldfish.
No,
and let them swim.
Let 'em go instead
they're
of
following
down the
the
toilet.
lines
And
of
this
least
is what
resistance.
happens. Well, yeah, but this is what happens when, you know, it's kind of divorced from the reality of things.
Now,
Ron?
how many people actually put goldfish in these different places?
Not too
I mean,
many.
there had, for all these goldfish to be now taken over, it sounds like it was a Beaver Creek trout hatchery that put them all together.
And you thought
dumped them in
rabbits
there.
were something.
Well, either that or goldfish breed prodigiously,
Yes,
you
like
know?
rabbits.
Okay, next topic. Uber to launch first self-driving fleet. Tom, you going to get in a driverless car with Uber?
No, I'm going to make sure they test this for a while before I do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you know, it's just another way, you know, where we have to really look down the road here. Here goes a whole bunch of thousands of drivers out of work. You know, what do you do to offset that? I mean, the economy, you have to try
Raise
to
the minimum
figure-
wage, right?
Oh,
that'll
Well,
fix
absolutely.
these guys, you know, these
That'll fix all our
guys
problems.
are not known for their being nice to their employees. They've found
Uber?
ways, yes.
Okay.
So I'm not surprised at this, but it's going to take some time, though, to really perfect that, because they've had some couple of problems.
Ron?
So,
I used Uber in Omaha, and I thought it was pretty cool the way it
is
happened.
pretty
I mean,
Yeah.
all at once you get picked up. But
Yeah.
I think what their CEO is and the CEO of Google, they're going to get together. But this is going to become in 20 years a major problem in the country. It's going to be truck drivers. It's going to be
Yeah.
a whole lot of different issues.
What happens to
And
them?
you won't buy a car in the future. In the future, you'll call Uber to go to work because it'll be far cheaper than buying a car.
See, that's what people do in D.C. all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I used Uber countless times when I lived in D.C. And I mean, this, although I am concerned about the loss of jobs, it would take away the awkward conversation that has to be had. You know, when you get into a taxi or an Uber, you feel kind of like, you know, do I talk to them? Do I not? So this would take away that problem.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
but I like the human contact.
Next
I do
one.
too. I
Drivers
do
in
too.
New York or whatever. you know?
McDonald's to stop distributing Happy Meal activity trackers.
Where's yours, Jim?
I have an activity tracker. I didn't bring it tonight, but it's not from McDonald's. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I think it was the content of what it was made of that's creating a reaction, a rash,
Right.
and different problems. And they
But
had 70 cases.
isn't there something counterintuitive about a
Ironic.
restaurant that has, I think what is their lowest meal in terms of calorie value?
don't
1,000
know.
calories? I don't know. It's a lot, It's probably not 1,000, but the point is, isn't that like
It's a little erotic,
yeah,
to say the least.
that's like going to the movie theater and getting a super large extra butter popcorn with a diet drink. What's the point?
I feel bad for them because they were trying to do something, to encourage physical fitness, and of course it happened to McDonald's.
Yeah.
This would happen to
Well,
McDonald's.
it's a strategy to sell meals.
Well, maybe.
So, Alaskan
money.
village to relocate due to climate change. Tom, you ought to be all over this one.
Well, I mean, let's face it, it's the canary in the coal mine. I mean, these people, they're facing real issues, I've just finished reading several books on this, and just what's going on now. It's going to cost them $180 million to relocate that little town. What's going to happen to Miami Beach, which already they have, at times they've got it's coming up to the ground now because of the sea level.
Yeah.
Not only is it a danger because of the storms and the rising sea level that way, it also comes right up through the sewer grates. They have flooding. I wouldn't be buying property in Miami Beach. How are you going to? Where are they going to move that to?
Ron?
I agree. I'm anxious to hear what Mary's take is
Yeah.
on climate change.
Notice I haven't been looking that way.
I know. I'm anxious to see because I think it's real.
It's very real.
I don't think it's fabricated at all, and I think it's time we start listening to science.
Mary?
I don't think that it's false or a farce. I do think that it's real, but I just think that we have more pressing issues to talk about.
And what is the cause?
What's more pressing than-
What is the cause? Is the cause human?
Being able to live.
I don't think.
I think there's a human element and component to it for sure.
But at what percentage? Is that 80% or is that 20%?
He's the climate change expert over here,
Yeah.
Bernie fan.
Yeah,
Well, he's
I
going to
mean,
say 80%. I'm hoping you're going to say 20.
Honestly, it's not something that I really take a lot of time to research because I think
well,
that we
it's
do
real
have
important. That's what
more
my point. Science
pressing
is
issues.
important.
Okay, and I'm going to give you the last word on that. Stay tuned because last call is next. We're back in 3.